In this video, I'll be going over everything wrong with Anime Last Stand from release to the current state, which is the JoJo update. Let's get right into it. Now, I might sound a little weird in this video. I know it's because I'm a little sick, but I should be fine by next week, so just ignore my voice and how I sound. Now, before we start, I just want to say that I really do love this game. I'm just making this video to inform the devs on the issues with it and how they can improve it. I'm not sending any hate towards ALS. When I say this, it's most of the community feedback. So on release, when the game released, it was really good, and it was the closest AA clone there was. Everything from the models to Sukuna's flame arrow was extremely good, and you could tell the effort the old devs put in the game. The traits were hard to get, which was good though, because getting a really good trait, even like all-seeing, was one of the best feelings, because in OG ALS, they were semi-hard to get. Although it took them a while to add 2x speed, it was fairly paced in the beginning. None of the modes took really long, but none were too short too, and the grind, it was just perfect. The only issue was really the challenges for Sukuna fingers. It was a bit tedious, but it was still better than just every item being crafted and doing caverns for a million years. Now, the Valentine's event. The Valentine's event, it was the best event I have ever played in a game. Doing portals and trying to get Yuta or shiny Yuta was really fun for some reason. It was grindy, but in the end, it was all worth it. Getting all the exotics like Lovely Arankar, Boa, Rias, Angel, and Yuta was fun because they were all good units at the time. At the start of new ALS. Now, this is when the drama with Blamspot happened, the overworked devs, and the stupid Wish Dragon code was what caused Boss Studios to buy out the game. At first, the buyout seemed really good and promising. The models in the first update, the Marineford Part 1 update, was really good, and most of the units on that update were meta. Raids were pretty basic. They were challenging if you didn't have Bobak, who was the best unit at the time, but unfortunately he was a code unit, so a lot of players couldn't even really play the game without him. The models for Shanks and Sengoku were amazing, and their balancing was perfect from stats to status effects, and Shanks was done so well, he is still a meta unit currently. Now, the summer event. The summer event was really good. The only thing was it was really grindy. This is when the game started to become more pay to win with all their new bundles. You get tons of rerolls and any summer unit of your choice just with some Robux. And Sid, he was extremely hard to get. He needed to do 100 total tier 5 portals, and he had a whole quest line after that just to get him. This update had also introduced skins, which was a really good thing because the skins, they gave buffs in summer portals as well as they looked really cool. And the skins, they made the update more playable and made more players motivated to grind because they wanted to get that gut skin. It was like this ugly mythic blue shark thing. They also had the wheel spin in this update, which in my opinion was one of the best things that has happened to this game because, you know, I love gambling myself. You could buy a spin with some Robux or you could grind like shells or whatever for it. You get one free spin a day. The rewards were just amazing and the rates were perfect. Now we're going to move on to Godlies. When the first Godly Escanor got introduced, the game was at its peak. It had most players it had ever had. It was really fun and it added an entirely new rarity to grind that also had unique modes with like riddles. The most important part about this was that the grind was really worth it. Godly units were by far and still are the best units in the game, and each one has their own unique mechanics. Escanor, for example, he buffs himself across 20 waves, along with buffing his entire team by 20% if he's in the first slot. This makes Godlies good in every game mode because of their unique buffs. The only downside about the Godlies is the units you have to obtain for them. The units you need, for example, like Ban or Bon, King, and Meliodas are all bad units that a normal player wouldn't even get if they didn't have to. This itself makes it so that the Godly is the only good unit in the update. Grinding the units you need for godly evolutions takes a big chunk of time. You have to grind the caverns just to evolve some units you will never use again. These units like Meliodas and Aizen are really hard to get as well. The only chance you really have of getting them is doing Purgatory Story, which you need like a team of Overlord Plus to do, which makes it a lot harder for console and mobile players because they can't even AFK. Now that we're talking about AFK, let's just talk about the reroll situation real quick. Now, rerolls are incredibly easy to AFK and obtain if you use a macro or you're on PC. Because of this, PC players have a huge advantage because we can get any trait on any unit we want. But the mobile players and the Xbox players, they can't AFK, so they can't get any good traits. But now, since the PC players have good traits, the devs have to make every new mode insanely hard, which makes it unbeatable for the mobile and console players, so they basically can't even play the game. Now we're going to move on to the JoJo update. The newest Godly in the game was Dio, and it is by far the grindiest the game has ever been. When I say grindy, it is not a good grindy. Like, the portals were tolerable because, like, A lot of times it was like different maps. So every portal you would have like a new map. It would be a new environment, and it would be kind of fun. But the reason why Dio is so grindy is because he is limited. So when he goes away, he will have a ton of value, which motivates people to grind for him while they can. Unfortunately, this grind is terrible for multiple reasons. The quest that makes you time stop 200 times is atrocious. Going into an infinite with 3 times speed makes it so that you can time stop once every 30 seconds. And they never even added auto ability, which they promised, which would make it 100 times easier. And you can't even auto click the time stop because every time it time stops, there's a cutscene that changes your camera angle every single time. So you can't even macro it, you can't auto click it, and it's just annoying and tedious as hell. With this math, this is 2 time stops every minute, meaning it would take almost 2 hours just to get this single quest fully done. If that wasn't bad enough, you could only do the time stops with the first evolution, and that evolution required multiple low percent drops from legend stages that are incredibly difficult even with an amazing team. These legend stages also have drops for Poochie though, which you need to evolve him twice to be able to even unlock Dio's godly evolution. Before you can even unlock Poochie's evolve button though, you have to do another secret quest line, which makes you kill 3 different types of enemies almost 100 plus times each. For one of these quests, you have to kill 125 mini bosses, and it has to be in a legend stage. There's 4 mini bosses in one stage, which means you have to do about 32 stages just to complete this one quest. Not to mention, for Poochie's final evolution, you have to find 3 moon fragments on the ground, and you can only pick up 1 per day. So this grind is a minimum of 3 days. In the end, ALS was a game that at first was great, if you could see past its flaws. But with a new dev team, slowly started to become a game based around spending an absurd amount of time on it. In the future, the units people spent weeks grinding for will just be sitting in their inventory never to be used because there's one better than it, causing all that time they spent just to be something they don't even use anymore. Also, I just want to give a shout out to these guys because I really couldn't have done this video without them, and especially King Mo and this other dude. King Mo has a YouTube channel as well, so you can subscribe to him for real. He makes good content. Basically, that's all I have for this video, but if you did find this entertaining or helpful in any way, then you could drop a subscribe and a like, because I do post a lot like this, and I'll see you guys next time.